Hey, what's going on, guys? So we're here with an update with one of my favorite projects, Metacade. There's no secret. Anybody who follows me knows I'm very bullish on this project. Here in this, I tweeted on the 18th of February, buying Medicaid for maybe the last time. Trying to insinuate I'm very bullish. I think that we're seeing a reversal. We're about to go up, however you want to call it. We're also going to look at when price was down here, what I was looking at. I'm not lacking on Medicaid, guys. I'm always out here looking at price action, looking at charts all day on top of things. And I was all over it when price was down here on this wick. And we're gonna look at some of those things. And also for this video, I reached out to the team, Russ and Cass, and asked is there any news they could put out. So I'm going to talk about that, some fundamental things, as well as Medicaid on chart. All right, guys. So first off, let's look at Medicaid on chart and what's going on right now technically, and then we'll come back and we'll look at what price was doing when it was at lows and what we were looking at, and maybe you can handle those situations better next time. So we're just gonna take a real quick look at Bitcoin because if Bitcoin's not doing good, the rest of the market's not going to do good. So Bitcoin is bullish on the weekly. This is a weekly candle. I mean, it closes tomorrow, but this is a very bullish formation. I mean, look, you got this parabolic trend line that it didn't even come close to touching. So all things considered, I mean, you'll get red candles with BTC on hourly time frames and even daily, but overall, BTC is still looking bullish, even though it's at all-time highs. It is what it is. That's what the chart's telling us. So Medicaid, so we already established, BTC looks relatively healthy. So one of the things I look at when I look at technical analysis on assets, and it's had to move up, and it starts to have a little bit of a pullback. Where does that pullback come back to? And does it leave a gap? You hear the term gap a lot. A lot of people use it for a lot of different terms. I mean, it's just something very simple. When you look over here to the left, where did it come down to wherever that breakout point was, the highest wick? And the body gap matters as well, but it didn't come down here, so we don't have to worry about that. So when it leaves a gap, that means it's showing strength, because it means buyers were eager. Like, they didn't even let it come down here. Like, this is a line in the sand for a lot of bull and bear traders. So when it doesn't even go down to that level, it's considered a bullish. At least that's the way I analyze things. So if you look at the daily, take a little bit better look, and look right where we drew that zone at. Look, bounce, a double bottom, wiki double bottom and this is the day's candle, but it's green right now. That's all good. This is like a double bottom bull flag. Maybe it can be like a wedge where we get a third push down. That could be possible as well. But see what's going on the weekly. All right, so this is where I had tweeted about, like, I was buying Medicaid the last time. Let's see how much of a gain it's been since that weekly close candle. And it went up 120%. As of right now, it's a little bit over 100%. So good gains, broke this swing high. That was good. So where can we be looking for resistance now? Assuming it goes up. Well, this is going to be one level right here where the body of this candle is, and this wick. It didn't make a real pronounced swing high in the market, but it was very aggressive selling right here. So I'm going to say, but the zone is pretty small. So I'm going to say like the body of that candle and like the upper part of that wick. So it's going to face some resistance right here for sure. And from current price, that is about, I think, 25% or so. So 20%, 25% before we start facing pretty good resistance. And then the all-time high up here, you're probably going to face a little bit of resistance there, which from current price is about 100% move. So, but once it breaks that, then we're in price discovery, and that's when the bigger gains normally come in if the past has been any indication. So what can we look at measure moves for Medicaid? I mean, it's good it broke this. Okay, but is there anything we can extract from the chart technically as like a leading indicator? And there's a few things. There's always something you can look at. So one thing you could look at is say that Medicaid this was in a range this whole time, and that when it breaks out, that it can go up to a measured move of the range, which is from here to here, from the breakout point, say there, and that puts us in the ballpark of all-time highs if you use that as a measured move target. Erase this because there's another pattern that I think is actually probably the better thing to use. That I would say through here, it was in a descending triangle. Matter of fact, let me move that there. Yeah. So the measured move from that pattern, you take the high to the low, take it to the breakout point. That's about where we are right there, and close to this resistance level. So I do expect us to find some resistance there. The path to all-time highs and life-changing gains has speed bumps on the way. It's not just up all the time, but I don't see anything concerning on the price action. It broke this 20 level and it claimed that, you get a higher time frame close, like on the weekly, like that on a bullish candle. That was great, to claim that level, and we haven't. And then you see the pullback. I explained that with the gap. And so this descending triangle, because we've seen lots of patterns in the market, and you're seeing these things play out as more things break out in the market. And a lot of things have settled into an ascending triangle pattern. And the reason why, just a real quick explanation, why an ascending triangle in like when bullish sentiment overall, why it's better, is because you don't have a resistance zone up here. Like if the triangle was ascending instead of descending, then just say like theoretically price was ranging in that. Once it finally breaks out of the pattern, it's clear to the left. It doesn't have like another place of resistance here where it made the top of the pattern. So that's why in these conditions, it can be an ascending triangle can be a little bit better. And that's just a kind of a side note, because I've seen a lot of ascending triangles and head and shoulders patterns playing out. So technically on chart right now, this is how I see Metacade. We broke out of these lows, at least probably, unless something catastrophic happens, I don't see us coming back down to these lows. We reclaimed this level. So it's holding that support. I expect us to find some decent resistance here, but ultimately we're going to move up past that and test this all-time high. And once we hit the all-time high, that's when, it passes any indication, the bigger gains will really start rolling in. All right, for this next part of the video, for anybody who wants to know more about technical analysis, I'm going to look and go over about what I was looking at Metacade when it found the bottom and why I thought we found a bottom or we're seeing reversal. And before that, I had said, I think that Metacade was in that descending triangle pattern. When people ask me for a good project to buy that I think could give good bull market gains, I repeatedly said, I think Metacade can give great bull market gains for a variety of reasons. Technically on chart, I just see it's ranging. I don't see any reason to think the price is about to break out or have any kind of reversal right now. But it was as this started to develop that I started to see that. So anybody wants to learn more about technical analysis, check this part out. The video should be timestamped. The next part of the video, I'm going to talk about Metacade itself and look at the platform and some of the communication that I had with the team. So this is what I said on my Telegram as price was coming here. If anybody wants to join my Telegram, there's a link down in the description. There's a lot of Metacade fam in there. But the body of the candle was about to close below these wicks, but it didn't do that. It got balled up and closed above. But even if that was the case, the worst, so even from current price, I think it would still find support here at worst at 13%. So that's not really worth it to me to dump it to where it would probably find like strong support. I mean, look, strong wicks up twice, and you're still getting strong, wicks up to the upside. That's why this candle, that was a little bit concerning, but it did get. So, you see that we saw where that was likely going to go down, or there's a good chance it could go down, but it's only like a 10, 12% loss or something like that. So it's not worth like selling it and trying to rebuy or something like that. But then, we saw when it was at the bottom, it needs to bounce. This is either the bottom or we're going to drop 15 to 20% from here. But it's the exact level that we had pointed out before. So we were ready for it. We have these alerts set. We're watching it. We're on top of things. And then you see the bounce. That was the bottom. So you could buy that bottom price. But the thing is, it's always a trade-off of risk, reward, and probability. This was a strong leg down. This is all red candles. So it is reasonable to know that this is a bottom and be like, okay, I'm going to hold off just a little bit because this is a bottom. This is a strong leg into this. Like, this is the kind of leg that can break through those kinds of levels. Medicaid's a great project, but technically things sometimes are what they are. So we're like, this is either a bottom right here, or it could be, the start of breaking through support. But then it was, didn't take long. Even after this candle, we're posting about it and say, that shows that, reversal. That's a reversal candle right there the next day. And then as you see, so yeah. So then if you want more confirmation after, an area is like a bottom type area where it could be a bottom, watch it. You don't have to FOMO or worry about buying it right then. And then buy the reversal. And this is why I don't tell people don't buy the dip. You know, the buy the dip mantra is for suckers and bag holders. You know, DCA good projects in their range, sure, but don't just buy a downtrend. Don't just buy red candles. You know, so that's what I was looking at. And for anybody who's interested in learning more about technical analysis. All right, so let's talk about some fun stuff now. Let's look at the Metacade website itself, and we'll talk about some of the communication I had with the team. And yes, there is some hidden alpha to drop. But you know, I just love the mark. I love the way they come across. Everything's real clean. You know, I evaluate projects every day, so I look at all these gaming websites and through their platforms and things, and I really think Metacade is top notch. You know, I don't have any confirmation bias in saying that. I like Metacade because of the things I see. I don't like Metacade and then try to adjust the things I see to confirm that bias. You know, I honestly like the things that I see with Metacade. You know, I'm not getting paid to say any of this stuff. I like the project, you know. So look at this is how much it is, because I've talked about before. Metacade setup is a little bit different when they have this monthly fee, but they don't have nodes or these other things to generate revenue. Same thing with NFTs. They have NFTs, but they didn't try to sell a bunch of no utility NFTs to raise money from the project. That's another thing you see that's common. You know, their NFTs will have utility. So Taurus, Gamer, and Medicator, and this one say it's still to come. Monthly, annual, $40 a year. Let's see. We hit the Taurus. Hit continue. See what it does. So it takes us here, where you can check out their games and this whole feed. I mean, it's pretty cool, you know. So I encourage anybody to come here and check it out themselves. And you can get the tourist pass like you just saw me do in real time, and go from there and check out these other things. You know, they got so many partners. And yeah, to like the point about all the partners, you know, if you think about like, why is that? Why does Medicaid have all these partners? Well, what I would say is, if you think about the fundamentals of what they have talked about and what they want to do, a lot of it is centered around tournaments. Okay. So where would you get other people to help join the tournaments? You know, it's from making these partners. And I don't know that I haven't heard this, like the team hasn't said this to me, anything like that. This is just kind of my own inference, that's one of the reasons of the big focus on partnerships, because they want to, I don't know, maybe even start being like a competition thing, you know, like the Medicaid gamers versus the Naka gamers or whatever. I don't play games, but I do like this project, and I think you guys see why. So talk about some of the stuff, communication from Russ. So the marketing is starting to crank up next week's onward, but they started marketing, I think it was February 19th officially. And you're seeing that on Twitter. This project's hot. I'm seeing a lot of support out there for it. And then he talks about coming out of beta Q2. So all that's good stuff. You know, thanks for the update, Russ. But, you know, I did promise you a little bit more than that. So he said, you know, 10 days time, sneak peek, not for sharing. So, you know, take that for what it's worth. He told me not to divulge that. But I guess, you know, because a lot of these things, you know, people tease these things and then it's like falls flat. I'll say it's not a nothing burger. It's not a nothing. It's not something I think is going to catapult us to all-time highs or anything, but it has to do with the platform and the utility. So I'll leave it at that. So good things coming from Medicaid. You know, I talk about the tokenomics for this project a lot as one of the reasons I like it. We just talked about it technically. We talked about what we were seeing and why we thought, okay, we're about to see some reversal. We think Medicaid's found a bottom, headed on the way up. Check out the site. You know, I encourage anybody to go check out the site. I'll put the link in the description for their site and for their Telegram. You know, it's got a really active and fun, engaged community. I would encourage anyone to go check out their Telegram, follow them on Twitter, check out, you know, some of the people in the community. Because I think this project has big ambitions and the firepower to get it done. So anyway, that's my current analysis on Medicaid. So I appreciate everybody who watched the end of the video. Later, guys.